Alright, enrichment kiddos. Here we go. So hopefully this one's a little easier for you. The last 2 weeks apparently I've stumped a couple of you. Oops, sorry. So we're going to do online graphing this week. All of my students, not just you guys, all my students are pretty good at doing graphing paper pencil. But the reality of it is most people don't use paper pencil for graphing too much anymore. They do it all online somewhere. So we're going to be using Google Sheets. It's very similar to Microsoft Excel. So if you can get yourself pretty fluent with either of these programs, that's something that's really good to add to a resume. Y'all are going to be looking for jobs probably in high school or right afterwards. And if you could list that you're proficient at Microsoft Excel / Google Sheets, that's a huge asset to have in life. So I'm going to try and help you out today and just give you a 7th grade rundown on how this works. So we're going to do this in 3 steps. It's called I do, we do, you do. We've probably heard of this before. So I am going to do this one all by myself. We are going to do this one. I'm going to do it and you're going to mirror me. The third one is going to be you do it all by yourself. And then I have a little freedom here with this end one. Get creative, and we'll talk about that when we get there. So I do. So I'm up first. So in this data table, what we're looking at is, actually this should say year. What we're looking at is the year and the estimated remaining forest in the Brazil Amazon. So sadly, what you're going to notice here is most likely that the amount of rainforest that is left in Brazil is decreasing over time. But we want to prove that with a graph. Because if you just showed me a bunch of numbers like this, you're going to confuse a lot of people because there's something called dyscalculia. It's when people get numbers mixed up in their head. It's like dyslexia. So it's really confusing for some people. Seeing stuff in a graph is much easier. So step 1, what you want to do, and there's going to be a worksheet that goes along with this if you get stuck. You're going to highlight all of your data. Okay, ignore the top gray box. That's why it's gray. So we highlight all of our data. You're going to go to Insert, Chart. Okay. A little sidebar is going to pop up. And we have here, I like to move it off to the side a little bit. Okay, we have our chart. It is literally just that easy. I mean, you could call it quits here. And that's that. But you're not gonna, because that's not how we're gonna do this. So we are going to customize some stuff. So because we're doing data over time, a line chart is exactly what we need to do. So that's awesome. But we want to customize some stuff. So your style, you can pick your colors and stuff like that. I don't typically mess with that too much. If you want to smooth out your line a little bit rather than have it jaggy, it's not messing with our line at all because our numbers are all so high. You can pick your font and all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to mess with it too much there. Our chart title is way, way, way too long. So what we're going to do is kind of trim this down, and it's called title case. What it means is the first letter is always capitalized in every single word. Basically, we're breaking rules of English. So I would say, I'm going to trim this down. Estimated forest in the, hold on, I got to capitalize some stuff. In the Brazilian Amazon, I can't see the rest of it. We're going to get rid of this unit versus year. And these extra spaces. I like to just clean it up real good. Make sure that it looks real good. Okay, so you see that it all changed over here. Font, title, size, that's fine. I always center my title. I think it just looks a little bit more professional. But here's where you need to get tricky. So instead of closing this all completely, you got to come right here where it says chart title because we got other stuff. So chart subtitle. Okay, so I always like to put as of 2019. So this is the most recent stuff that I could find. Okay, again, I like to center that. If you don't like it quite that gray, you can make it a little bit darker. Okay, you can make it all the way black if you really want it. It's up to you. Again, do it again. Horizontal axis title. So year, it's automatically centered. That's awesome. Vertical axis title. Same thing, we're going to title case this. So estimated remaining forest cover, let's see what, oh my goodness, too much. Cover. And then we have to keep our unit. So that's where we definitely need this. This is kilometers squared. We cannot make that as a superscript, so we're just going to have to leave it as is. But you see that we cleaned up this side real nice. So we got that, so we can close that out. Series, don't mess with the series, you will mess stuff up. What you can play with here, you can play with the color. I'm going to pick green because we're talking about trees. You can make it dashed or dotted. Okay, you can do whatever you want. I prefer a line. It's up to you. You can make it a little bit thicker, a lot of it thicker. You can make it a little bit thinner. If I'm using just one line, I like to keep it at 2. Nothing else there. If you want to put points, you can, so you can see specifically like where the data was. That's completely fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. So close out the series. Legend, you should put a legend. A good graph maker is going to make a legend. But typically we don't really need one because in this graph, because we're only working with one set of data. Ooh, that would be good. I could make you do 2 sets. Ooh, I might throw that in. That's good. Okay, so in this case, we're not going to do a legend because we only have one set of data. We already have our axis, our grid lines. I prefer to see grid lines, so that's just me. Hold on. Somewhere I'm looking for something. Error bars, trend line. No, we don't want that. We want, oh, this is what we want. I do want horizontal axis. So you can see here a little problem. We have a lot of what I like to call dead space. From 0 up to 3 million, we have nothing. And then we have this line that looks like it's barely decreasing. And then someone might say, well, nothing's really happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change how this is spaced over here. Okay, so I'm going to make my minimum value 3 million. And I know that's still super duper high. But when we make our, must be a number. It is a number. It's very nice. Look at that. Ding, ding, ding. Alright, I figured out my error, but I cannot go back and undo it in the video, so pretend it didn't happen. Don't go to horizontal axis. I want to go to vertical axis. Apparently, I don't know my axes. But what we're doing over here is the exact same thing. We're going to set my minimum value at 3 million. We're going to set my maximum value at 4 million. That's going to allow us to see a more steep decrease. So now we can see specifically, we can break down these numbers a little bit nicer. You could even get more specific if you wanted. You could take it between 3,250,000 and 375,000. That's up to you. I like it like this. So aside from that little mistake, which shows we're not perfect, I think that looks pretty good. So I like to drag it and kind of just put it right next to my data so I can really easily and pretty see this number is in this little graphy thing right here. So we do. Now we're going to do this together. I don't know exactly how I had this in my head. So maybe what you need to do is kind of drag your screen and snap it this way. And then in a new tab, I need you to snap this on this half of the screen. So you see how I did that? Now I got two screens going at the same time. I'm going to put mine all back together though. If you need help with that little section, let me know. I'll come over and help you. But I want you to be doing it at the same time I do so that we can do it together. Or I'm not really going to care if you don't. If you just watch me again, that's fine too. So, same thing. Select your data. Ignore the gray part. Insert. Chart. We are still going to be using a line graph because we're showing data over time. Excuse me. So, go to Customize. We're going to run through all this jazz together. Chart style. My aunt keeps messaging me. Same thing, nothing too much. Here you might be able to see smooth. You see how it changed. Hold on, let me scroll over so you can see it. You see how I made it look a little smoother? Depends on if you like it or not. I do not, but that's just me. Chart axis and title. So we're going to start with the chart title, births. So I'm going to formalize this. Number of births versus year. Like I said, I always like to center things. So subtitle, and then same thing, this is as of 2019. I just pulled this data. Chart axis title, so year is totes still fine. Hold on, subtitle, center. This births, I'm going to formalize this a little bit nicer, and I'm going to make it number of births. Okay, that looks good. Close that out. Series. Let's see. Oh, I should have broken it down boys and girls. That would be cute. Too late. Let's do red. That looks fun. Okay, remember you can pick your different dashes. You can pick how thick you want it over here. If you want points or not, I'm fine with or without points. Doesn't matter to me. That's that. Okay. Close the series out. We don't need a legend because it's only one line. Again, here I got myself right this time. So my horizontal title, nothing's gonna change in here, but my vertical title, we are gonna change this a little bit. We have a lot of dead space down here. We can change it. Let me correct myself. You absolutely don't have to. If you wanted to make it even more dramatic, start your numbers down here at 2,000 or 2 million, because then you can really see, whoa, we had a giant spike in 1960s. And then we had another pretty big spike here in what was estimated about 1990s. Big decrease right here. So it's up to you. You can leave it. You can take it. Either way, I'm not going to be mad about how that turned out. Let's see. Grid lines. Okay. Easy enough. So I like to just make sure things are nice and formal here. So now it's your turn. I'm not going to do this one for you. I actually might throw in a couple extra points. Looks like you got a kind of boring graph here. Ugh. No, this should be fine. So go ahead and tackle this one. I'm actually going to add in a, hold on, wait for it. I'm going to throw in another one. So it's going to be called multiple lines. So I'm going to make a separate video for that because I only have 3 minutes left and I can talk quick, but I don't want to lose you guys. So what I want you to do is, you got a couple jobs here and it's all going to be on the handout. So you're going to have to answer some questions about the I do and the we do, just some simple graphing questions. The you do, it's going to walk you through step by step in case you do get lost. Get creative. What I want you to do with this is somehow survey the people of this classroom. So maybe you're going to do your name and you're going to do your favorite sport. So you're going to go around and you're going to write in, Paige likes football. Hey, that's me. Okay. And you're going to do all of those things. And then you're going to have to take your data and you're going to have to see how many people liked football. One person liked football. How many people liked soccer? That's not how you spell soccer. How many people like soccer? That's multiple, whatever. 4 people like soccer. So if you do something like that, you're going to have to kind of do 2 separate data tables. Maybe you're going to do some kind of year. So how many people were born in each year? So for you guys, a lot of you were born in 2004, 2005, 2006, somewhere right around in there. So come up with an idea. Bring it to me first. I don't want you to go crazy if it's not actually possible to make that graph. So come up with an idea, bring it to me, I'll sign off on it. And then over here on the multiple lines, like I said, I'm going to make a separate video for that so you can try and tackle that one because it's actually surprisingly easy as long as you do it right because I have not plenty of times. So that's that. So go back to your paper, figure out what you need to do. And if you need me, raise your hand.